Unlike traditional vampires, ORLOK's transformation was achieved through mastery of dark magic, rather than the typical act of being turned by another vampire. His backstory, as hinted in the film and expanded by director Robert Eggers, draws heavily from Eastern European folklore and elements of historical mysticism. Count ORLOK is depicted as a Transylvanian nobleman of considerable power and influence, living centuries before the events of the nosferaTU film. His physical appearance, including a bushy mustache and clothing resembling a 16th century Hungarian noble, aligns with historical depictions of figures like Vlad the Impaler. In ORLOK's backstory, it is suggested that he was a member of the {olomanari, a group of Romanian sorcerers reputed to ride dragons and command storms. This group is tied to the scholomance, a mythical school of black magic where the devil himself is said to teach 13 students at a time. One student is chosen by the devil at the end of their training to serve him, either directly or as a cursed figure of immense power. ORLOK is implied to have been one of the few to graduate from this academy, mastering its forbidden knowledge. The scholomance is a recurring theme in Eastern European folklore and plays a critical role in ORLOK's transformation. This legendary school, located in the Carpathian Mountains, was believed to offer students unparalleled mastery over dark arts. However, this power came at a steep price: their souls. As per the myth, students would spend years in subterranean chambers without sunlight, learning to harness forces beyond mortal comprehension. Upon completing their studies, one student would be claimed by the devil as payment. In nosferaTU 2024, a nun references ORLOK's connection to the scholomance and his status as one of the {olomanari. This suggests that ORLOK willingly sold his soul to gain his powers. His mastery of dark magic allowed him to bypass the typical method of becoming a vampire, being bitten by another, and instead use sorcery to transform himself into a powerful, undead being. Unlike the revenant vampires of folklore, which were often described as mindless and ravenous, ORLOK's transformation through dark magic preserved his intelligence, cunning, and personality. His undead state, however, came with physical and spiritual corruption. ORLOK's grotesque appearance, a pale, decaying visage with elongated features, mirrors the idea that his body continues to rot despite his immortality. This decay reflects the toll of his pact with the devil, as well as the unnatural forces keeping him alive. ORLOK's powers, as portrayed in the film, surpass those of ordinary vampires. He is shown to possess significant supernatural abilities, including mind control, shape-shifting, and the summoning of storms, powers traditionally associated with the {olomanari and Romanian lore. His vampirism appears to be an extension of his magical studies, allowing him to maintain his autonomy and avoid the servitude often implied in vampire hierarchies. Robert Eggers' depiction of Count ORLOK draws heavily from historical and folkloric sources. The character's link to the scholomance reflects a deep dive into Eastern European myths. The {olomanari, referenced in the film, were believed to be sorcerers who could summon rain and storms, and were often associated with dragons. This connection reinforces ORLOK's status as a figure of immense magical power, distinct from the more traditional vampire archetypes. The film also ties ORLOK's appearance to historical figures like Vlad the Impaler. In addition to the mustache and noble attire, ORLOK's mastery of warfare and his connection to ancient rites echo the stories of Vlad's brutal tactics and rumored involvement in dark practices. While Bram Stoker's Dracula only briefly mentions Vlad, Eggers expands on this inspiration by aligning ORLOK's background more closely with such historical figures. In the film, Count ORLOK speaks an ancient Dacian language, a choice that further underscores his antiquity. Dacian, an extinct language believed to have influenced modern Romanian, adds a layer of authenticity and historical depth to ORLOK's character. Eggers consulted linguists to reconstruct elements of this language, making ORLOK's dialogue feel more rooted in history and mythology. ORLOK's character in nosferaTU 2024, played by Bill Skarsgård, is described as one of the most terrifying depictions of the vampire. Skarsgård's performance is enhanced by the character's complex backstory, which Eggers developed specifically for the film. The actor reportedly wore prosthetics and raised shoes to heighten ORLOK's menacing presence, making him appear nearly 7 feet tall. His voice, described as deep and rasping, adds to his eerie demeanor. The film's portrayal of ORLOK emphasizes his inhuman nature, but it also explores his human origins. By contrasting his decayed physical form with his former identity as a nobleman, the film reflects on themes of corruption, ambition, and the consequences of unrestrained power. So what do you make of this extended backstory created by Robert Eggers? Please leave a comment below. Also, check out the I'm Fine t-shirt in our store, the perfect gift for sci-fi fans. Until next time, stay frosty and alert.